Hello and thank you for checking out this video. Today we're talking about query and the 5 levels of complexity of how you can use it. So after watching this video, you will become so much more better at query and you will become so much more better at Google Sheets in general, because query is actually one of the most important functions in this tool. So without further ado, let's get started. Before I actually jump into the actual levels, I want to do a real quick introduction to query, just in case somebody that is completely new to this function. I'm gonna do it real quick. So the basics of query is that it's a function that allows you to take your data, source data, and just create instances of it in other places, dynamic instances. So for example, I can query this data in raw sheet, and it's gonna give me this. Now if I try to edit this, that's gonna allow me because it's continuously pulling the data from here. And now let's start the levels of query. The first level is using query using the same data in different places. So why would you need this? For example, you have this report, and instead of keeping it in this raw input sheet, you may want to see that here. So you would do that. You would see it here, and maybe you want to see it in some other sheet like here, right? This is just an example. Oops, yeah, this is just an example how you could use the same piece of data in multiple places. And also, I will talk about it in a second. Further down, select what exactly you want to see here, so you may see different instances of the same piece of data. This is actually very useful, and if you're working with Google Sheets a lot, you understand what I mean. The next level of Google Sheets is selecting columns. So you notice that the function, the formula looks like this, but what I can do is then add a where clause, not really where, select clause, where I can select which exactly columns are. Now you can see how quickly this becomes useful. So for example, I don't need to see all of this data. It's just too much information for me. For instance, I'm only interested in the page URL and its title. So I would select column A, capitalized, and then column G. Now you can see that I only see the data that I need to see. Now, if we combine the previous level with this one, let's say there are multiple people working on the same report, and the technical department needs to see, or maybe the marketing department just wants to see these two columns, right? But then there is the technical department who need much more data than this, so they would actually need to select more columns. So they would select A, C, E, and G. So now this will be a report for the technical department, and if you notice, this is the same exact piece of data. This is a data source, but it's used in different places. It can be used by different teams by selecting different columns and seeing different pieces of the same data. The third level of the query is the ability to filter the data with the where clause. So let me start from the very beginning. There's my raw data source, and let's say I want to see only the. So if you notice this website has a lot of files in the format of PHP, which is the actual pages, and .css. So let's say I don't want to see. I want to see a report that will not contain any URL with the question mark, right? Or maybe just CSS. So what I can do is say, let's say this is still the report for the marketing team, select A, G where not a matches, and then I'll say CSS. Now you can see everything that contains CSS is gone. What if I remove this not? We will see only the URLs that do contain CSS. So that's 3 URLs containing CSS. I will add not back. There's also JavaScript URL, so I can use this pipeline and then dot star JS, and it removes the JavaScript, the URLs containing the JavaScript. And now what I could also do is remove all the URLs that contain the PNG, because it's just a media image on the website, not an actual HTML page. So I could do another vertical pipe and then say PNG, and we're good. I could also remove this one too. Now you can see we just filtered down this report only to the actual HTML pages, the pages of the website. We excluded the files with the JavaScript CSS code and all the images. Now, moving on to level 4, creating data pickers. So you can see I just typed in everything in here. Let me make it a little bit simpler. Let me simplify this formula for now. I will just say I will select only the URLs that do contain PHP, which is just kind of the opposite from the approach I just did before. And now you notice that I had to type in everything into this formula, which is a little bit uncomfortable because you can make a mistake, maybe a little bit confusing to you to do it. So what if I was able to have a drop-down cell or an input? What if I had an input field? And I'm gonna mark this yellow here. So if I type anything in this input field, it will show me the data that contains this phrase in here. So if I could just type in PHP, it would only show me the pages with containing PHP in the URL, right? Wouldn't it be cool? So instead of typing in the actual phrase PHP, what I can do is link to the value of in E1. So let me show you how to do that. Now you're seeing the same result, but let me show you what if I change it to CSS. Now you can see it's showing me the files with CSS or JavaScript, or I can delete and delete this cell and see all the URLs, right? So let me select PHP. Also with the same approach, what you could do is add another one. You can actually add multiple input fields like that. So I have one where A matches and then A matches, do the same thing. F1, and then in this F1 I can add another condition. So let's say I want to see the URLs that have like Austin as a parent page. So I say Austin. Now you can see I filter down to the actual valid HTML pages and also filter down to Austin. And with the same logic, you could also add another clause that would exclude some URLs. So I could just copy this, add not before the column name, and then change to G1. So this would be the exclude. Now it has to be something in here because it's not going to show anything. So let's say test doesn't show anything. But let's say now I want to exclude the about page because I do want to see about page. Now you can see there is no about page here. If I exclude contact, we see about but don't see the contact page. And then I'm gonna show another cool example. What you can do is let's say I want to check out filter the data by type. So what I can do here is create a drop down by going to data validation, drop down from a range, then I would select like this, and in this drop down I would see the unique values from that column. These are the data types. And now using the same logic, I could just link to here. So there would be, I would also have to include the B column. Actually, I don't have to. I could just add a condition and B matches. Actually, I'll just delete everything here where B matches I1, right? So now I can select the content type. Actually, I should have B2, so I exclude the header. So let's say I want to see image PNG, right? And I could also display column B to show you that it actually displays the right content type. Now I want to see this one, or this one, or this one. Level number 5 is combining query with other functions, and I've actually touched on it. For right now, I've actually used the regular expression combination of Google Sheets and regular expressions because matches, and this thing is kind of the part of the regular expressions. The dot star means that this phrase can be anywhere inside the phrase. So if I didn't have that dot star around the cell, then it would mean that it wouldn't find it anywhere in the string. So that is how we just used query in combination with regular expressions. And what you could also do is, here's an example, you could use query with count or count A. For example, let's say I want to see, let's say I want to just select image PNG. What I could do is wrap this in count A, and instead of seeing the list, I could see the number of pages that have image PNG type. Now if I change it to text HTML, that's 47, this is 7, etc. Now I have a bonus for you that's actually level 6, and that level is combining the query with Google Apps Script. If you're not familiar, Google Apps Script is like JavaScript in here, and it allows you to extend the functionality of what you have available in the Google Sheets. Say you want to keep track of the pages that have an empty title. So I'm going to say select AG where G is not null. Actually is null, right? In this case it's just JavaScript, CSS, but let's say we need to keep track of this, and not only we need the list, we actually need a number. So we can just create another query and just add count A, I should say A2. So we have 20, or currently we have 20 URLs that don't contain index. And then let's say we want to do a daily report of this number. What we can do is create a Google Apps script that would take this number in C1 and send it to the email that you need. Maybe it's your email or your manager's email, your boss's email, every day at certain time. I'm just gonna write something random in the function, and what we can do is schedule this function to run on a certain frequency. For example, every day. So day timer 11 to 12 p.m. and we should click save, and then the function would take the number in C1, which today is 20, and we'll just send an email or add to some kind of database along with a timestamp, so that way you can track the number of pages without the title on a consistent basis. That's gonna be it for the video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, and I hope you have a great day.